All right, today we're talking about StarkNet. It's one of the heavy hitters trying to solve Ethereum's biggest headaches. But here's the deal. We're going to cut through all the noise. We're focusing on the actual tech, what people are really using it for, and what the future might hold based on real evidence. So let's get right into it. So let's start with a question I know every single person who's used Ethereum has screamed at their screen at some point. Why is this so ridiculously slow and expensive? This right here is the entire reason Layer 2s like StarkNet even exist. The highway at rush hour analogy is perfect, right? Too many cars, not enough road. Traffic grinds to a halt, and those express lane tools, they just skyrocket. That's Ethereum in a nutshell. And this slide, well, it lays out the problem perfectly. On one hand, you've got the Ethereum mainnet as we know it today. Slow and oh so expensive. On the other hand, you have the goal, the dream, right? A network that's lightning fast, super cheap, and can handle, well, everyone. The entire mission for a project like StarkNet is to be the bridge that gets us from here to there. Okay, so how exactly is StarkNet going to build that bridge? What's the magic? Well, the secret sauce is something called a ZK rollup. And you've got to understand, this isn't just a simple speed boost. No, this is a totally different way of thinking about security, one that's guaranteed by, believe it or not, pure mathematics. The core idea you need to grasp is this thing called a validity proof. Think about it. Instead of jamming up the Ethereum mainnet with every single transaction, a ZK rollup is way smarter. It takes a huge batch of them, bundles them all up off-chain, and then generates this one tiny, super powerful cryptographic proof. All that proof says is, hey, trust me, I've checked the math on all these hundreds of transactions and they're all good to go. And that one tiny proof is the only thing that ever touches Ethereum. It's incredibly efficient.
It really boils down to a super simple three-step dance. 1, you bundle up all the transactions off the main chain. 2, you generate that one single elegant validity proof. And 3, you post just that tiny proof back to Ethereum. It's kind of like sending a certified summary of a book instead of mailing the entire 1,000-page novel. Of course, it saves a ton of time and money.
Now, this is where things get really interesting, and where StarkNet starts to pull away from some of its rivals, especially the ones called optimistic rollups. See, with a ZK rollup, your transaction is basically final instantly. Why? Because the math is proven correct from the very start. Optimistic rollups? Well, they're optimistic. They kind of just assume everything's okay and then have this long waiting period for someone to shout if something's wrong. StarkNet's philosophy is different. It's not about trust but verify. It's about mathematical certainty. All right, so the theory sounds amazing, right? But great ideas are a dime a dozen. How does this actually work in the real world? Let's peel back the layers and look at the actual technology and the ecosystem that's bringing this whole vision to life. Because at the end of the day, execution is everything.
And this quote, man, it just nails the whole StarkNet vibe. This is not a project that chases hype or flashy marketing. Nope. They are all about being laser-focused on one thing, building an absolutely rock-solid, technically robust platform that serious people want to build serious things on. You can think of them as the quiet, heads-down builders in a room full of people shouting.
And at the very core of this whole thing is a custom programming language called Cairo. Now, you might be thinking, another new language to learn? But there's a really good reason for it. Creating these provable programs, the ones that can generate those magic validity proofs, it's just incredibly difficult. Cairo is purpose-built for this. It gives developers the exact toolset they need to build really complex, really secure apps. We're talking next-level DeFi, super fast-paced games, stuff that would just be a nightmare to build otherwise. Look, the proof is in the pudding. The numbers don't lie. We're seeing this really healthy, stable climb in transaction volume. What does that tell you? It means real people are using this. Real applications are running on it day in and day out. This isn't some theoretical science project anymore. It's a living, breathing ecosystem that's growing the right way, organically. And here's the kicker. All that growing activity, it doesn't come with a crazy price tag. Actually, it's the complete opposite. The average cost for a transaction on StarkNet is, what, a few cents? It's just a tiny, tiny fraction of what you'd get slammed with on the Ethereum mainnet, especially when things get busy over there. I mean, just look at this comparison. The difference isn't just small, it's absolutely staggering. You have Ethereum Layer 1 with its fees that can go to the moon and back without warning, and then you have StarkNet with these super low, super predictable costs. If you're a developer trying to build something that millions of people might use, this isn't just nice to have, it's a complete game changer. This is how you unlock the door to actual mass adoption. Okay, so we've established it's powerful tech and it's incredibly cheap to use. Great, but what are people actually building with it? What's it good for? Let's dive into some of the real-world use cases that are already up and running on StarkNet. Right now, it seems like we're seeing traction in about 4 key areas. First up is advanced DeFi. Think complex lending and derivative protocols that need a lot of computational power. They feel right at home on StarkNet. Second, and this is a big one, is gaming and NFTs. When minting and trading costs pennies, it just opens up a whole new world of possibilities. Third, the unique way StarkNet's tech works is unlocking some really cool stuff in privacy and digital identity. And last but not least, we're starting to see the first real institutional partnerships pop up. And let me tell you, that is a massive vote of confidence in the platform's security and long-term vision.
So that's the now. But what about the future? Where is this all heading? Let's take a look at the roadmap for the next couple of years. But let's also be real about the hurdles and challenges that are definitely in the way. You always have to look at both sides of the coin, right? You can really map out 3 potential scenarios for 2026. The base case is kind of the business as usual path. StarkNet keeps chugging along, growing steadily in its strongholds of DeFi and NFTs. Then you have the bull case. This is where things get really exciting. We'd see major institutions jumping on board and StarkNet pushing into brand new frontiers, like communicating with other blockchains. But then there's the risk case, the downside. And that's where the intense competition from all the other layer 2s, plus that steep learning curve for Cairo, could really combine to slow down its growth. And we really have to be honest about these risks. They're real. Number 1, Cairo. It's super powerful, yes, but it's also a barrier to entry. Getting a whole generation of developers to learn a new language takes time. Number 2, it's still a layer 2. That means its fundamental security is tied to Ethereum. If something goes wrong with Ethereum, StarkNet feels it. And number 3, probably the biggest one, the competition is absolutely brutal. The layer 2 space is a shark tank, and everyone is fighting for the same developers and users. Well, all of this just brings us right back to StarkNet's core DNA, doesn't it? In this industry that's just drowning in hype and noise, maybe their biggest strength is that they're quiet. Their relentless focus on just building the best, most solid technology is their secret weapon. They're not attracting tourists. They're attracting citizens who are here to stay for the long haul. And so that leaves us with the big question, the one that really matters. StarkNet has put all its chips on substance, on tech, on security, on quiet, steady, organic growth. So in this massive, high-stakes race to scale Ethereum for the whole world, what wins? Does substance beat hype? I guess only time will tell.